Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another video in the How to Edit Wedding Photos series. You can watch more of these videos in the playlist on the channel. Today's wedding edit is at Beamish Hall in Durham with Amy and Oisin, or Osh for short. It was a red hot summer's day and there's even some golden hour goodness in the edits too. So without further ado, let's go to the computer and start the edit. Here we are inside the computer, guys. So we've got 61 images for Amy and Osh. So if I take this into Lightroom, so you can sort of see we've got 61 images. Amy's wearing a lovely Pronovias gown. We've got black tie, summer day. Just what more could you ask for? So we've even got a nice golden hour. So we'll have a look at them as well. So we're just going to jump straight in and edit these. So bring my bars back. So shift and tab. So develop D on the keyboard. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a history state just so we know where we were. So if I up the sharpening by 5, and that just creates that history state in the panel. So if we need to have a look back at what we did, that's totally fine. Open the basics panel and let's reset every image and then we'll go through them. And an upcoming video, I'm going to take you back to some old weddings. Well, not weddings, more like adventure shoots. So back in 2020 during lockdown, when things had eased up and we were allowed to travel a bit, I actually went to the Lake District with Charlotte and Ross and we shot some photos up in the lakes. But I also drove all the way to the Isle of Skye, 8-hour drive with Jess and Matt. So I thought we could have a look at them and re-edit them because it kills two birds in one stone, because I want to, it's sort of a reflection as well of like, look back at how you used to shoot and see how far you've come. It does, you can see the gap. If you look at your work from 3 years ago to now, you should be able to see the difference. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to go back and look at work I shot 3 years ago, because it'll be completely different how I shoot now. You know, legs will probably be chopped off, compositions will be all over the place. But I thought it might be fun and we'll re-edit them. So that video will be coming up at some point. So, right, back to this video. Let's have a quick look at how they are now unedited. So just wait for these to kick in so you can sort of see how everything looked unedited, especially the sunset photos. We never had a full-on golden hour, so I've just sort of created that by using correct positioning and compositions to get a bit of flare, a bit of light coming through, and then we can warm these up and make them look like golden hour. So that's all of the images as shot out of camera. Right, let's start at the beginning. Now again, you see on all my editing videos, I apply my preset to all the images. We could do it one by one, but it's just easier to put it on. Color, as you know from now, temperature 1, 2, tint 1, 2, tint, double arrows 1, and that pretty much will get us where we want to be. So deselect everything. Let's start here. I have got the lights on, but I used to turn them off in some of the other videos, as you've seen, because the lights were hitting my eyes, which were affecting the colours. So what I've done is I've took my Elgato lights, which are usually like here, like facing me, and I've turned them upside down. So they're pointing at the ceiling now. So the light's hitting the ceiling and coming down. So I've got the lights for this video, but it's not actually smashing me in the face, which means I can sort of see the colours a bit better. I'd still see the colours better if I didn't have them on, but at least they're not shining right in my face. So let's just develop this one. Right, first things first, let's straighten this up a little bit. Shall we see what a straighten will do? Let's have a look. Yeah, prefer that. And then let's rotate it back a little bit. Bit more warmth, bit magenta. I'm just going to pull it down a tad bit. There's not much you can do about areas like this where the sun is so harsh, it just blows it out. And I'm just going to bring in a dodge brush, so subject pop, and I'm just going to add a bit of pop back in the middle section here, up it a little bit, then bring it back. Before, after, looking nice. Next image. Okay, this is obviously annoying. I think it's possibly a coat hanger. Let's just get rid of that. So this is Amy's dad. He looked a very cool gent. I did enjoy photographing him that day. He just looks sophisticated. He looks nice. Right, let's pull that down. Let's see where we were. So that's where we were. Pretty much identical crop what I've just done. So that's good. Let's just do the edit. So this guy's obviously a bit too bright here. So instead of just dodging him, burning him, let's just pull in a dodge from the other side, and then we can just control the whole frame. I might do 2 of those, and then we can bring it all down together. See what I mean? Nice and easy. Alright, a bit more warmth, tiny bit magenta, and then what I'll do is I'm just add a tiny bit of dodge around his suit, just to add a bit of detail back in there, tiny bit on his face. That looks nice to me, so it's looking good. Okay, next image. I believe this was a black and white, so yep. So all I've done is cropped it in, get rid of this shadow line at the top, and then rotate it, straighten it up. Careful not to chop his foot off. I was very close to the edge of the frame here. Black and white, and then we're just going to pull this down, pull it out so I can see it. Right, so if we have a look at before and after, so the only thing that's changed is the crop, and there's a few clones. There's actually quite a lot of cloning. All of the shadows on the floor, including these, that black thing there, the lights in the windows. So because it's pretty much identical to before, and to save me doing all the clone work, I am just going to reset it to what it was, and then just straighten it up a little bit. So that's pretty much exactly how I did it. It's just put the black and white on and do all the clone stamping, but you don't want to sit through me doing all like a ton of clone stamps. Again, nice shot of Dad. So before it was a nice black and white, so let's just have a look at it in colour. You know me by now, I love myself a bit of colour. I love it. Add a bit more warmth. I'm just going to add quite a large dodge. That's nice. Before and after. Dad comes in, sees the nice shock surprise. Again, if I show you the before, I don't know what's going on here with the sign. That shouldn't be like that. Was that like that before? I've got no idea what's happened there. Anyway, we'll do it from scratch. So let's crop the nightstand out. First thing we need to do is see if we can a straighten will work. I wish that Adobe would fix this. So when you just got a smart preview and you're not connected to the drive and you zoom out, anytime you roll over an effect, it just zooms out. It does my absolute tits in. I wish they would just do it so it would keep the zoom level. So you have to go back up here so the screen doesn't change. Right, so straightening's not doing a lot, but it's doing enough. So I'll apply that. Right, Amy's obviously on the bright side, because we've got a window coming in from behind. So let's just brighten this area up, and then let's pull it back just to bring Amy down and the rest of the image down. I'm going to add a bit of warmth. How we're looking. That looks nice. I'm just going to add a bit of dodge to his suit just to bring up some of that detail. Just so you can sort of see the waistcoat a bit better, because I don't want it to just look like a black clump. And then a tiny bit of dodge up here. How is it looking? How is it looking? Before, after. Right. Clone this light switch out. Right, I've got no idea what was happening with this door, so let's fix this door. Again, it looks a bit of a tired door really. They could do for replacing it. So let's get rid of all these marks on the door where the paint's chipped off. I mean, look at this. The door looks like someone's tried to kick it in. Right, let's get rid of this. Once I did this originally, it was probably before they updated this heal tool, so it's just so much easier now, guys. Unbelievable. Love it. Right, see if we can get rid of the smoking sign. That looks good. A few finesses. Lovely. No way we can do this one here. Mum's there. I'm going to bring Mum's exposure up a little bit just to sort of match Dad. Right, bit more warmth, bit more magenta. Pull it back again. One of them things you can come away from the image, come back, and you'll see the colours completely different before and after. Nice. So let's have a just quick check on how they're looking. Again, smart previews. I don't know why it takes so long for them to load in. They're looking nice. Nice little set. Again, I like that in colour. It's nice. Right, bridesmaids come in. Right, so you can sort of see the blues and the warmths hitting each other and creating them lines. So straight away it needs some more warmth just to even that out. A bit more magenta. Right, let's just add it. Can't do too much cropping because don't want to chop her hand off. Probably about there. Let's just add a bit of dodge in the top half of the frame. And we should be able to pull the rest down a little. That looks pretty nice to me. So before and after. Okay, moving on. So shooting from the balcony is they come down the stairs. So let's just straighten this up a little bit. This was originally a black and white, but again, I might just leave this in colour now. So it looked like this before. Things were cropped out, as you can see on the left hand side, cloned out, sorry. So keys and letters from reception, because reception is here. That's why there's a printer or something, thank you card. So we'll try and get rid of them. So let's crop it in a bit more. We'll see if we can get rid of the printer and then straighten it up a little bit more. Awkward. Let's have a look. Sharpening. Yeah, it was a similar sort of crop. Just obviously prefer it a bit wider, but don't want the printer and the chair. Let's have a look, see what we can do. We might be able to clone it out. It's going to be hard with that parquet floor, and I'm not even bothered anymore. Let's just leave it in. Right, add some warmth. Right, that's nice. Pull that down a bit. Right, let's see if we can get rid of all of this. Not bad. Let's get rid of this. Not bad. Not bad at all. Right, let's see if we can create this, put this line back in. Not going to. So what we'll have to do is do this with the old style brush, and then we can just move what bit we want. So we want this bit here. Add this line back in. That looks good to me. Q. Let's go back to the actual good stamp brush. Remove this card. Now there is a shadow, so let's see if we can fix that. Not bad at all, is it? Compare to how it used to work, this tool has come along a long way. I think that'll do me. It looks better than before. Alright, pull it down a bit just for the exposure on the back of her dress. It's handy that these are falling into shadow, so I don't mind them as much. Should we try and get rid of them? I can't see this working. Surely not. Hey, that's not bad, that. See if we can just finagle it. Do you know what? It ain't bad. No one's going to notice that. That's fine. Right, let's move on. So this one was a black and white. Again, probably looks quite nice in colour. So let's bring it down. I can see from his hands, they look a bit pale, so we need some warmth. So let's throw that warmth in, and then some magentas, and then just pull it down a bit more. And that looks good to me. Okay. So this one, fire extinguisher would have gone, and the signs at the back. So let's just do them first. So let's get rid of that, and then fire extinguisher. Could have put these on the other side of the room, on the other side of the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, fine well they're going to be seen in photographs, but I know they don't think of us photographers or whatever. Just us being selfish. Now that's done an absolutely appalling job of that. So let's try and make a bigger selection. Let's finagle it a little bit. This fire extinguisher might be staying because it's looking pretty dodgy. Let's have a look, see what it looks like from the... Nah, it looks terrible. Right, the fire extinguisher is staying. Reset. Take this out though. Right, what did it look like before? So I did manage to get rid of it before. Right, I'm going to go back to how it was before, just so I don't have to do the cloning. Right, let's put the colour preset on just to make sure everything's how it was. So this is how it was shot before, but I'm going to bring it down a bit and put a bit more warmth, a bit more magentas, and then I'm just going to add a bit more exposure at the top. They need a little bit there as well, and then just pull it down again. Okay, so that was it before, and that's it now. So just took out the people on the right hand side here as well, because they're not really contributing anything to the image. So that looks really nice. Lovely. Right, let's move on. So this shot here was a heavy crop, and it was black and white. So cut it black and white. I'm going to lift the temperature on that, and it was a heavy crop like this, just to show the parents' hands touching. So before, it was nearly identical, the crop, pretty close. So it was a little bit tighter. Right, so let's just go for about there. Just pull that down a bit, and then what I'm going to do, because obviously you've got a very dark suit here, I'm just going to add more exposure on this side. Take that all the way up to 0.5, and then just pull it all back. Right, looks nice to me. Let's move on. So again, I prefer it when there's no obstructions between my bride and groom and me, so I can actually get a full length portrait. In this instance, I think we had videographers, and I've got obviously chairs, big wooden tables. Not the best, but I can already see I've got speakers up here. I may have got rid of them before. No, I did not. So first off, let's just crop in slightly, because we're a bit far away here. How's that looking? That's how I'd crop it now. Let's see what it looked like before. Just a slightly bit wider. That's fine. Right, let's add a bit of warmth, and then let's add a bit of dodge to them. Pull it down. How's that looking? Looks nice enough to me. Next image. So I got rid of this guy here. So it was all about Dad again, and looking suave. It's like an old James Bond. Let's pull it in. Just pull that over. Just going to take it right to the top of his hands, or the bottom of his hands, on top of his head. There we go. Bit more warmth. Pull it back. Smooth. He's a smooth criminal. Right, let's move it in. So we've got the sun hitting Mum in the face, so we can't pull the full image up too much. So let's just add a bit of dodge here, and we can control the highlights on her dress a little bit. So let's pull the exposure down a tad bit there. A bit more warmth. Right, move on. I think we did this black and white, so let's just pull this down. Key on the keyboard. Let's create a bit of a pop around him again. Subject pop. Pull that down again. Right, next one. Probably could have tilted the camera a tiny bit. Bit too much of a heavy crop on his head, but it's fine. Pull it in. To be honest, I need even numbers on my blog because they're in 2 columns. So what I might do is just zero this one out. Right, let's pull this in a tiny bit. Right, I'm just going to add some more warmth because we're outside. A bit more magentas. Pull it down. Nice. Before and after. Again, I've said before that when you're editing, you should be applying your preset and not changing much really. You can sort of see from all my editing videos, exposure, temperature, tint. That's all you should be changing. So there's the exposure, add some temperature, add some tint, and we're good to go. You should not be touching anything really in any other panel, especially the basics panel. You shouldn't be like, oh, this one needs to drop the highlights. All right, I'll lift the shadows a little bit and pull the whites back up a bit. Needs a bit more black. That's a completely different preset to what I put on it. So if I roll over my preset to now, completely different. It looks a lot more HDR because I've lifted the shadows up. So try not to touch anything in your basics panel. Put your presets on, keep it to exposure, temperature and tint. The odd occasion, if you've got haze and smoke, add a bit of clarity or dehaze or contrast, tiny bit, but on the whole, shouldn't be touching your images. Right, I'm just going to paste previous because it's identical. Let's just pull it in a tiny bit. Alright, lovely. Next image. Again, paste previous. It's the exact same area, so should get the same sort of colour tone. Lovely. And then let's just crop it so it's straight. Looks nice to me. Let's have a look what it looked like before. So that was before. It's a tiny bit green. Now it's not green. Lovely. Right, let's just pull this back down. Bit magenta, bit of warmth. Done. Moving on. Right, let's just lift this up a little bit. So they were literally, this isn't a couple portrait. This is just them walking over to where everyone was having the drinks reception. So I've just took a quick photo. It's warming up. Bit of magenta. Okay, moving on. So I think I just shouted at them, guys, go for a kiss. Actually, let's just paste previous, get the colour, and then just sort the crop out. Let's move it up a tiny bit. Might just take out these 2 things that'll distract to my eye. Tiny bit of dodge. Nice. Moving on. We'll do the same thing. Paste previous, reset that crop, and then we'll take care of resetting the heel brush. Heels, reset. And then we can just redo these. Lovely. Bit more dodge to bring it down. Nice. Right, straight into drink reception. I think I just cut this bridesmaid out because it wasn't really adding anything to the photo. I think I took a quite heavy crop on this one. So I took it right in to about there. Right. Add some warmth, bit more magenta. Good to go. Right, obviously in the shadow side, so let's add some dodge back in on this side. I don't want to go too far, otherwise it'll just look unnatural. So let's pull this over a little bit more magentas, tiny bit of warmth, call it good. Okay, this one. Again, this wedding was shot in 2022, so quite a while ago now. How time flies, honestly. Bit magentas, add some more warmth, just bring it down. So when you're shooting in really harsh sunlight, you just gotta go for the best you can do, guys. Obviously, you don't want to blow someone's face out, so it's just about getting that balance. bit of magentas. Let's add some more warmth. So looks nice to me. Could crop it in a bit. I might crop it in so we're just sort of at the sideless turret. Yeah, it's nice. And then I'm just going to rotate it slightly. Okay, next image. So this image here I cropped in. No, I didn't. Okay, so just applied the preset. Well, I did crop in, just ever so slightly. I'll just pull it down. Right, add some magentas, add some warmth, and we're good to go on that one. This is obviously, we don't want this, just a nose sticking in from the side. So let's just pull this in. Bit of magentas, bit of warmth, good to go. It's a fighter jet going over my house. Don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can't. Alright, let's pull this down. So you've got a lot of hard light coming in from his left side. So the background is naturally going to go a bit darker as well. Alright, bit of warmth, bit of magenta. I'd rather this person's arm wasn't there. Did I crop that out before? I didn't. But that's fine. Again, bit of magenta, bit of warmth. I'm not going to crop this too much because I don't want to crop too much more of a handout. So that's Amy's mum. Right, we've got a drone shot. So straight away, when you put your presets on, it'll say profile missing because obviously it's a drone. So just change that to colour and you'll see that it ever so slightly changes. So first thing we want to do is give it a proper crop. So as if it was shot from our cameras. So 2x3. And then I'm just going to crop it in a bit. I don't want too much sky in my photograph because it just adds nothing to the frame. So let's just pull it in a bit. About there, I would say. Maybe rotate a tiny bit. Lovely. Right, let's pull it down. Right, add some magentas again. And I'm just going to add some exposure back into like some of these dark areas. Just put a bit more highlight down here. Let's pull it back a bit. Nice. Right, done 31. Should we have a look at just all of the outdoor ones to see how they're matching? So that's looking good. It's looking cohesive. So if I get rid of the portrait, just so we can sort of see a bit more on screen. Right. So that's looking like a nice set. Especially these two. That's from the ground with 35mm. That's with the drone. Do they look the same? Yes. Everything's looking nice and cohesive. Right, let's move on. So the guests. Again, he's obviously in the shade. So let's just lift this area up a little bit. I'm going to add a bit more magentas, some more warmth. It's about the shadow line here. You sort of see it creates like a dark shadow line. I just cannot stand it. So let's just pull it in and it just looks a lot cleaner, you know. Right, moving on. Got Mark. So Mark is lovely. I went to school with him. He's well known throughout the UK and abroad. He is the one and only Miss Tess Tickle. He's a drag queen and one of the best around. So lovely guy, Mark. Right, okay, let's just brighten this area up. And the second one, and one more on his face, and then we're just going to pull it all back. It's just controlling that light a little bit on his shirt a bit there as well. Let's add in a dodge, a burn, sorry, onto his hand and shirt. So then I'm just going to pull that off the shirt a little bit. Didn't look too bad on the hand, but was looking a bit grungy on the shirt. So let's take that on and off. Not bad. Right, bit of warmth, bit of magentas. I might add one more pop dodge to his face. Subject pop, yeah. So straight away you can sort of see such a simple shot, but I do take care and attention to put a lot of effort even into such a simple shot. So should you. Right, let's pull this in a bit. And this is why, like, imagine AI or any AI editing is nice and it can get you 90% there, especially if it's learned your style, which for me it has. So if I do use it, most of the time I would get my photo back like this. The colouring, all I need to do then is do the crops and finesse, which is fine by me. Right, needs more magentas, definitely needs a bit more warmth. Let's pull it back a little bit, add a bit of dodge into the middle section, pull it back again, bit more magentas I think, bit more warmth, call it good there. Right, straighten this bad boy up, quite a heavy crop, rotate, sorry, nice. Right, magentas, warmth, quite a lot of warmth. It's the thing when it's a summer's day, it's going to be warm, pump the warmth in. Right, next one, nice group shot. So didn't want to take them out onto the main green because they would just been squinting. There'd been a lot of hard light everywhere. So I found sort of a section under the trees, and you can sort of see it's all shaded. 2 steps forward, they'll be right in this hard light that's coming across the front of the grass. So, you know, shade's your friend. If you can't find shade, put the sun behind the group. You don't want them looking into the sun. Right, let's have a look. Cool. So this side, slightly more exposed than these ones, I would say. So I'm just going to add a bit more exposure to these guys. Add a bit more to their suits. Right, pull that back. And then magentas, needs magentas, because they're getting the light off the green. So the light's coming down, hitting the grass, and then going up into their faces. Bit of warmth. How's that looking? Right, tiny bit more exposure up here to these two. Probably him as well. That looks nice to me. Cool. I might see a bit more warmth, and then see if I can get rid of these sunlight spots from her dress. So that's the problem when we go to like woodland areas. Like when I used to do engagement shoots, I do the odd one now and again. If I'm going to woodland areas, it looks nice, but dappled light is a pain in the arse from trees. So that looks a lot better without them lights on her dress. Right, it's looking good to me. Zoom it out. Let's get rid of this parasol holder here. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, looks good, guys. This thing's annoying me a little bit. Let's take this out. Not even sure what that is. Yeah, it looks better. Before, after. Right, moving on. Same sort of thing, just the boys. So I'm going to paste previous. That's going to take over a lot of stuff I don't want it to. So let's just sort the crop first. Drag this in, out there. Right, let's reset all them heels, and then probably reset these as well. Reset all, delete masks. Right, and then we'll just reapply our local adjustments ourselves. So tiny bit of exposure to the boys on the left, just to sort of match the boys on the right. Tiny bit magenta, tiny bit more warmth, and then just pull it down a bit. Right, let's have a look. Do they match? Quick drink. Yeah, so they look nice. I think the lads have probably just took a step forward, maybe seem to be catching a bit more light on their faces, but look nice to me. Right, quick couple shot as they're walking through the trees. So let's just crop this in slightly. So you can sort of see the nice texture from the grain that the preset adds. So before it looked like that, and now it looks like this. So it just needs a like minute crop in to make it look like I did before. Let's pull that down. Right, pump them magentas in and the warmth. Right, so let's have a look at it before, after. Near on identical, which is good, because that means my editing is consistent. Let's take out this bit of bark. I think it's bark, might be a leaf. That'll do. Right, looks nice to me. Let's crop this in, straighten it up a little bit with the pipe in the background. It just needs the exposure pulling down. Bit of magenta, tiny bit of warmth, done. Right, we're inside, speeches time. Too much space on the left, so let's just pull that back. We don't want a nose coming out of the edge of the frame, like I said earlier. Needs rotating a bit. Was this in black and white before? No, it was in colour. I think I've only done one image now, this entire set in black and white. So I may have to go back and put it in colour. Otherwise it'll just look a bit odd. Right, so it looks too magenta, which is fine. So let's add in the warmth till it comes to where I want it. I might add a tiny bit of contrast back. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Sometimes you can just add a 0.10 back and it just sorts it out. Yeah, there was videography on this day because there's a microphone. Let's see if I can get rid of it. I mean, I'll be doing this myself soon with my bloody highlight films. Won't be doing recording full audios for ceremonies or speeches, but I will potentially use like some audio overlays for the films. So I will just record a little bit from like the groom or whatever. That's took out kind of good, that. Happy with that. Right, let's have a look up here on the keyboard. Right, let's add a bit of dodge up here. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of contrast in that area. So before, after. Right, similar sort of thing. It was in colour, just slightly cropped in. So let's just crop these windows out. I can see a fire exit sign in the back, so we'll try and get rid of that green. So let's have a look, see what it does for us. Yeah, settle for that. Do the wall, a bit higher. There's a bit of a weird thing in the curtain here. I hate LED curtains. You just kind of shoot against them. It's just, yeah, always shoot from the side. Right, bit of exposure, tiny bit of contrast for these ones. Looks good to me. Moving on. Right, we're in the sunset mode. Let's just crop this down a tad bit. So ideally we'll want them in the light. So I should tuck them out onto the light, which I do, again, I do that. But I think we just sort of walked in a circle. Right, so if I show you before and after, so this is before, that's now. So the only difference is to pump the temperature up quite a bit. So like, even all the way to 50,000, and then just put the magentas in until you feel you've got it where you want it. Bring it back. So something like that. So if I shot, go to before to now, literally the only thing that's changed is the crop really. So that looks nice. Right, so now, once we've got that, we can just paste in previous. Pull that down. Let's show you the before and afters. So before, I did it in black and white. Here now, I'll just keep it in colour. Okay, let's paste previous. Again, just pull it back. Just pull the exposure down a bit. Let's have a look, sharpening. Yeah, so that was before. That's now. So just pull it down a bit. And then this was the main one because it's got 4 stars. So I'll have probably gone in and took out all of the bits in the air and stuff like that. So pretty much paste previous, move it over, and then I'll show you before and after. Before, after, before, after. So I've added things to the top left like a flare. So if I go to K, and then I've got like a flare, sun flare, and I'll just put these values in, and then I've just drawn that in up here, and then just pull the exposure down a bit and the highlights, and it just creates that bit more of a flare. So I'm just going to go back to how it was before, and then I'm just going to pump in sort of the values I had before, which was all the way up here, 50,089. So it matches the others. Right, it just saves me getting rid of all the specks in the air and things like that. I mean, there's still a couple. You can see one there. Right, let's take this one, paste previous onto here, lift this up, and then just brighten it up a bit. I'm going to add some dodge to the top of the frame, and then just pull it back a little bit. Right, let's get rid of some specks. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Cool. And then pull it back a bit more. Let's have a look before and after. So this was a before, this is it now. So before, I'd actually cropped the side of Amy's dress out, whereas now I want to obviously include it. So it looks nice. So let's have a quick look at these ones together. So they look nice, they look cohesive, they go together, which is lovely. And then let's just move on. Again, take this one over to this one. Right, so if I go before, so that you can sort of see it was like that. So it's not actually like a lot of warm light. It's quite cool light really. So we're having to warm it up quite a bit. So that's it with just the normal preset on. But if I paste previous from the others, lovely, reset, and then let's just drag it from here. Right, so it needs to be brighter, obviously. So the problem here is we've got the light is in here. I should have just put them in there to be fair. Everything's lovely in hindsight, isn't it? So I need to brighten up sort of the areas that aren't in the light. And then let's do a subject mask to bring them up a bit. Right, I'm going to get rid of this line of light here, and then just crop it in a tiny bit more. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that looks nice to me. Right, let's have a look. Again, shot this a bit more depth, I think. No, it just looks it. It's still a 1.4. I'm probably just going to not use this image. I just don't feel it hits the vibes of the other ones. Still nice. What do you reckon? Let's get rid of that up there. Don't need that. It's got a bit too much sky as well for me, but I think we might leave it. I might have to pull the warmth down a tiny bit. Bit too nuclear. Right, last couple, and then we've got our sunset shots. So get the dress in, lift that up, Bit more exposure, about there I would say. Takes up some of these speckles out. Job done. One more there. Get rid of that. Nice. Right, let's paste previous. There's obviously like a block of ball over Oisin's suit. Doubt we can do anything with that. Might have a go though. Let's pull that down a bit. Let's have a look. See if we can do anything about it. Hey, do you know what? It's just so much better than it used to be. Wow. Couldn't have done that before, I don't think. Unbelievable. Right, a couple of specs here. There's one there, and the lovely. Right, let's pull it down a tad bit. Right, so let's have a look at that entire set. So that looks pretty good to me. We've got some that are obviously a bit more hazy, like this. That's totally fine. But it looks cohesive and looks nice together. So let's just carry on. Right, we've got 10 images left, and they're all sort of view from the reception, hugs near the end. People are leaving, some are coming, and then we're getting the dancing. So the lights obviously dropping as we've just been in the sunset. So we just need to add quite a bit more warmth to these. So we're up at 10,000, and then let's pile in the magentas till we're happy. Say around there. Nice. I'm just going to paste previous straight away. That looks good to me. Pull the magentas a tiny bit. Paste previous on this one. Pull it back. Okay, probably needs a bit of magenta. And then I'm just going to add a bit of pop dodge to Oisin. Nice. I might see if I can get rid of this bit of chair. A bit distracted. Not bad. Right. Dancing turn. Ah, yes. The lesser spotted videographer. These guys are really nice. They're like really quiet on the day. They never get in my way. They're just sort of like very quiet and don't do they obviously do their job, but they're just very quiet. But by God, they bring some gear. Yeah, took a picture once, sent my wife. There was tripods of cameras everywhere, about 7 cameras or something. Right, I'm gonna add a bit of contrast to this just because it's a bit hazy. I'm just gonna pull it in a bit. I think what I originally did, I've probably got rid of the videographer. Let's have a look. No, I didn't. I just left him in there. It's just fine. Bit of magentas, add some more warmth. Just pull the exposure down. See, I'll pull the exposure down because it adds contrast. I lift it right up, takes away the contrast. So I'm just looking for the right level, and then I'm going to pop dodge the humans, subtract from the bottoms, and then I'm going to add some contrast into this pop dodge. Not too much, you don't want to go all the way up here. So like 15 is usually my max for contrast if I'm adding it back in. Right, next image, we can just paste previous and we should be good to go. Yep, let's do a little reset on the crop, pull it down. So I do have a dance floor preset, which I've told you before, which is here. All that does is puts on my preset, which is this one, 00 color, and then just adds the pop dodge, and it just saves me doing one extra click. Half the time I forget to press it, and I just do it manually anyway. But I'm just going to paste from previous. That gets us where we need to be. Let's add a bit of dodge here onto this guy. He was class. Anyone wearing sort of tiger print jeans is a legend. Right, let's move on. Paste previous. Let's reset the crop and just pull it in a bit. Right, and then let's just add that bit of dodge here in the center bit. And then probably a bit more again to be fair. Pull it back a tiny bit. You can still see it's quite light outside, really, because it's that time of year. It's not dark till like 10 o'clock. Get rid of whatever that is. Right, let's move on. That is pretty much identical to how I shot before. So that was it before, that's it now. Just pull the exposure down, it's exactly the same. Right, same as before. So let's take this image. Let's just paste previous and just lift it up, crop it in. Needs a bit of rotate. Again, another camera on a tripod. There bloody loads of them. Right, add a bit of exposure here. Right, bit magentas, looking good. Right, last image. Again, before Amy's face. Brilliant. Right, so let's have a look. Let's reset. Paste previous onto this one. Let's just line the bar up at the back so it's straight. And then I don't want to go too high because then you lose the mood. So before I was actually a bit too high, I think. So what I'm going to do is just, I want to try and keep the colour in the background. So I'm going to go to about there. Add a pop to the rest of these guys. And then add a subject pop. Add a bit more contrast through the subject pop. Bit more exposure. nice, and it keeps that mood and atmosphere of the image rather than having it like it was before where everything's lifted. So again, this sort of comes from like your editing style and your eye and your creativity sort of changes as you go along, and this is why the editing is such an important part of the final images. And I think that's it. Right, let's have a look. Go all the way out. 60 images. Lovely. We've got 3 images in black and white, so that's fine. We could just do the entire thing in colour, but I'm happy with that. But it looks really good. So I will export them now, and they will be updated onto the website. So I'll take off the old ones. I've got the slight change of an editing. Again, consistency, guys, is so important. If you update your images, they should be updated on your website, and other things like Google My Business, etc., which I'll do once I've done all these edits for all the other weddings as well. But yeah, that's it. Let me jump over to here and say thank you very much. See you in the next one. Toodaloos.